Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over?
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case.
Here's a shocking question for you. Could Sean Diddy Combs, the man who once ruled the music industry with hits, parties, and unimaginable wealth, now be facing something even worse than life behind bars? The latest rumor suggests his time at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn has taken an unimaginable turn. From whispers about contracting a fatal sickness, possibly HIV, to even more disturbing allegations of attack in prison, this story just keeps getting darker. So what's really happening to Diddy inside those prison walls? And why are these rumors spreading like wildfire?
I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background.
Let's start with the most jaw-dropping claim. Diddy may have contracted HIV while in custody. Yes, you heard that right. Insiders are saying the once pristine health of the bad boy mogul has taken a nosedive, and it's not just because of the stress of being locked up. Rumors are swirling that Diddy's dramatic weight loss and frail appearance, which shocked onlookers at recent court hearings, might be linked to this devastating disease. While no official medical reports have surfaced, the speculation is fueled by those who've observed his transformation. Journalist Elizabeth Milner, who attended one of his court appearances, described him as astonishingly thinner with a much grayer and worn-out appearance. It's a far cry from the glamorous image he once portrayed, and people can't stop asking, is there more going on here than meets the eye?
It's just incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent until proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent until proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty.
But how could this have happened? Well, this is where things get even messier. Some insiders are whispering that Diddy's time in prison hasn't been as quiet as he'd like the world to believe. Allegations are flying about possible assaults behind bars. Yes, those kinds of assaults. The Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, is notorious for its rough conditions, and Diddy's celebrity status has reportedly made him a prime target among inmates. According to prison consultants and former inmates, high-profile figures like Diddy often face unique dangers in custody, including exploitation or worse. Some are suggesting that Diddy may have been forced into compromising situations with other inmates, situations that could have contributed to his rumored illness. And while no concrete evidence has emerged, the mere possibility has everyone buzzing.
It's just interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
Now, let's be real, Diddy is no stranger to rumors, but this particular story is hitting harder than usual. Why? Because it's not just about his health or his legal troubles. It's about the sheer brutality of his current reality. Sources close to the situation have hinted that Diddy might be struggling to protect himself in an environment where alliances and power dynamics determine everything. One insider claimed that Diddy has become paranoid to the point of refusing to leave his cell for fear of being attacked. And who can blame him? MDC Brooklyn has been described as hell on earth, with reports of violence, corruption, and even staff complicity in inmate assaults. If these rumors about Diddy are true, it paints a horrifying picture of what the once powerful mogul is enduring. But here's the twist. Diddy's refusal to eat prison meals could also be tied to these fears. According to former inmate and prison consultant Larry Levine, Diddy's paranoia about being poisoned is not far-fetched. Levine speculated that someone with outside connections could bribe a prison worker to contaminate Diddy's food over time, potentially leading to his demise. This idea has only added fuel to the fire, as some people believe Diddy's health decline could be the result of foul play rather than natural causes. And while his commissary snacks, chips, honey buns, and other packaged goods might be keeping him alive for now, they're certainly not helping his overall health. Combine this with the rumors of forced interactions with other inmates, and you've got a recipe for disaster.
They're going to try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
But let's not forget the backdrop to all of this: Diddy's legal troubles. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the FBI and other authorities are deliberately keeping him in harsh conditions to pressure him into cooperating. According to these rumors, investigators believe Diddy holds valuable information about other powerful figures in the entertainment industry, figures who might be involved in activities similar to those he's been accused of. by keeping him in MDC, a facility infamous for its violence and lack of basic amenities. Authorities might be hoping to break him down emotionally and physically. It's a tactic that's been used before with high-profile inmates, and while there's no proof it's happening here, the timing certainly raises questions.
Every jail is bad, and some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail.
Meanwhile, Diddy's team is doing everything they can to secure his release, but their efforts have been met with repeated denials. Judges have refused to grant him bail, citing concerns about witness tampering and the severity of his charges. His legal team even offered to place him under strict house arrest at his lavish Miami mansion, but the court wasn't having it. And while Diddy's lawyers argue that MDC Brooklyn is unfit for anyone to stay in, let alone someone of his status, critics are quick to point out that his current predicament might just be karma for his alleged past behavior. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Diddy's reputation. Over the years, countless allegations have surfaced about his manipulative and abusive tactics, both personally and professionally. For some, his current situation feels like the universe finally balancing the scales. But for others, these rumors of illness and assault only highlight the inhumane conditions of the prison system, raising questions about whether even someone like Diddy deserves such treatment. It's a polarizing issue, and as more details emerge, it's only going to get more complicated.
Now, in more Diddy news, Diddy will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet by at least 120 people in the next 30 days. So
where does this leave us? Is Diddy really battling HIV? Or is this just another baseless rumor? Are the allegations of prison assaults true, or are they exaggerated gossip meant to further tarnish his image? And most importantly, is the FBI using his incarceration as a tool to extract information, or is Diddy simply facing the consequences of his actions? One thing is certain, the story of Sean Diddy Combs is far from over, and the truth, whatever it may be, will undoubtedly send shockwaves through the industry. Stay tuned, because this saga is only just beginning.
It sounded crazy, like I said before. They said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100. Which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
it's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
So where does this leave Sean Diddy Combs? A man who once stood at the peak of music, fashion, and entertainment now finds himself in a cell, facing not only legal battles, but also the kind of personal and public unraveling that feels like it could only happen to someone as high profile and controversial as him. If the rumors swirling around his life in prison weren't enough, the public has now turned its attention to the bigger picture. The fall of an icon! How did it get this bad? And why does it feel like people are watching his downfall with a mix of fascination, pity, and, for some, outright satisfaction? Let's dive into the second act of this shocking saga.
Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentary.
First off, let's talk about how Diddy's once carefully curated image is crumbling faster than anyone could have expected. For decades, he was the man who could do no wrong. He wasn't just a rapper or a producer. He was a lifestyle. From his Bad Boy Records empire to his unforgettable parties that were the stuff of legend, Diddy embodied wealth, power, and untouchability. But over the years, cracks began to show. Allegations about his behavior started surfacing, stories of manipulation, intimidation, and mistreatment of those around him. And while these tales were always whispered in the shadows, they never quite stuck. Diddy was too big, too powerful, and his influence in the industry was untouchable. But now all of that has changed. Over the past year, the floodgates have opened. Allegations have poured in from all directions, painting an increasingly dark picture of Diddy's personal and professional life. From former employees to romantic partners, people have come forward with stories that have left the public reeling. And while Diddy has denied all accusations and pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, the sheer volume of claims has left many wondering, is this the real Diddy? Was the man behind the glitz and glamour always hiding something sinister? For a lot of people, the answer seems to be yes.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
The most striking part of this downfall, though, isn't just the allegations. It's the way the people closest to Diddy have seemingly abandoned him. Think about it. Where are the celebrity friends who used to flock to his parties? The industry insiders who once called him a genius, the protégés who owed their careers to him, it seems like one by one. They've all gone silent. Some are distancing themselves for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to be associated with someone facing charges as serious as his. Others, though, appear to be doing so out of a sense of overdue justice. There are whispers that many in the industry have been waiting for this moment, that Diddy's fall from grace feels like karma finally catching up to him. Take, for example, the reactions from those who've crossed paths with Diddy over the years. While most aren't speaking publicly, insiders say that the general sentiment is one of relief. He's finally getting what he deserves, one anonymous source reportedly said. Another claimed that Diddy's behavior has been an open secret in the industry for years, but nobody dared to challenge him because of his power. Now, with that power slipping away, it seems like the floodgates have opened, and the people who once feared him are now watching his fall with a sense of vindication.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
But not everyone in the industry is celebrating Diddy's downfall. Some of his longtime collaborators and close allies are reportedly struggling with a mix of shock and sadness over what they see as the destruction of someone they once admired. One former associate described the situation as heartbreaking, saying that while Diddy's actions may have been questionable, he was also a man who lifted countless others to success. For all his faults, he gave people opportunities that no one else would, the associate said. This sentiment is echoed by a few who believe that Diddy's current situation is a tragic reminder of how power and influence can corrupt even the most promising individuals.
And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
Meanwhile, whispers are growing louder about how Diddy's fall might send ripples through the entire entertainment industry. With the allegations against him being so public and high profile, some insiders fear it could spark a domino effect, encouraging others to come forward with similar accusations against other powerful figures in music and entertainment. This isn't just about Diddy anymore, one entertainment lawyer reportedly said. This could be the beginning of a much bigger reckoning. Industry executives are said to be bracing for what could be a wave of lawsuits, exposes, and revelations that might reshape the landscape of celebrity culture. The question now is whether Diddy is just the tip of the iceberg or a one-off cautionary tale. Adding to the drama is the speculation about how this will affect the broader legacy of Bad Boy Records, the empire Diddy spent decades building. The label, once synonymous with innovation and success, now faces an uncertain future as its founder's reputation crumbles. Artists who worked with Bad Boy are reportedly distancing themselves from Diddy, with some even considering legal action to reclaim royalties or renegotiate contracts. Bad Boy was built on his image, a former artist said. But if that image is destroyed, what happens to the legacy? Fans, too, are grappling with their feelings, with some calling for a boycott of his music, while others argue that his artistic contributions should be viewed separately from his personal life. It's a debate that's dividing not just the music world, but the culture at large.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol, things of that nature.
And then there's the perspective of his alleged victims. For them, this moment is more than just a headline. It's the culmination of years, even decades, of pain. Many of the people accusing Diddy of wrongdoing have spoken about the psychological toll his actions took on them, describing a cycle of control and intimidation that they felt they could never escape. For these individuals, seeing Diddy in a prison jumpsuit looking frail and defeated feels like a form of justice. He's finally paying for what he did, one accuser reportedly said. And while it's important to remember that Diddy has not been convicted of any crimes, the public's perception of his guilt is already shaping the narrative.
You know, it's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share.
But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The public's reaction to Diddy's downfall isn't just about justice. It's also about spectacle. People love a good rise and fall story, especially when it involves someone as larger than life as Diddy. Over the years, he built himself up as a symbol of success, someone who seemed untouchable. And when someone that big falls, it's hard to look away. Social media has been flooded with memes, commentary, and debates about Diddy's case, with opinions ranging from he deserves everything he's getting to, let's not forget that he hasn't been convicted yet. But no matter where people stand, one thing is clear. Nobody can stop talking about him. Part of what makes this story so captivating is the sheer contrast between Diddy's old life and his current reality. Just a few years ago, he was throwing million-dollar parties, traveling on private jets, and living in sprawling mansions. Now, he's waking up in an 8-by-10-foot cell, eating prepackaged commissary snacks, and worrying about his safety every single day. It's the kind of fall from grace that feels almost Shakespearean in its tragedy. And while some people feel sympathy for him, others see it as a cautionary tale, a reminder that nobody, no matter how powerful, is above the law.
And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
But what about Diddy himself? How is he handling all of this? According to sources, he's doing everything he can to maintain a sense of control, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Reports suggest that he's been working out in his cell, trying to stay physically strong despite the challenges of prison life. Others say he's been spending his time reflecting on his situation, writing notes, and preparing for what many are calling the fight of his life. But let's not forget the rumors about his health. If the whispers about a serious illness are true, it's possible that Diddy is facing more than just a legal battle. He could also be fighting for his life. And that raises an even bigger question. If he's convicted, what kind of future does he have left? And then there's the question of what this means for Diddy's legacy. For years, he was a symbol of ambition, someone who turned nothing into an empire. But now that legacy is in jeopardy. Even if he's acquitted of all charges, the allegations and rumors surrounding him have already left a stain on his reputation that may never fully fade. For some, he'll always be remembered as a trailblazer, a pioneer who changed the music industry forever. For others, though, his name will forever be associated with scandal, controversy, and betrayal.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
The real tragedy of this story, though, isn't just what's happening to Diddy. It's what it says about the people around him, the industry he helped build, and the culture that allowed him to thrive for so long. How many people knew about the allegations against him and chose to stay silent? How many benefited from his success while ignoring the darker aspects of his behavior? And how many are now pretending they had nothing to do with him despite years of loyalty? These are the questions that nobody wants to answer, but they're at the heart of this story. So, what's next for Diddy? His trial is set to begin in May, and until then, he'll remain in custody at NDC Brooklyn. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. This is a story that's far from over. Will he be vindicated, or will this be the final chapter in a once gilded life? And what will the world learn from his rise and fall? Let us know your thoughts, and stay tuned for the next chapter in this ongoing saga.